All praises, all glory, all honor, all esteem to the Most High Yahuwah, who is, was, and will forever be. He's all power, all might, all wisdom, all knowledge, all understanding. He is Ahaya, Asher, Ahaya. That is the I am that I am. So the purpose of this channel is to bring to light what has been hidden, what has been done in the dark, that Satan deceived the whole world. Okay? So I'm sure you heard this before, and maybe you didn't think much of it, but it's written in Revelation 12 verse 9, and it says, this is what it says. Revelation 12 verse 9, it says, "And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." Okay? So you want to ask, wait, he was cast out into the earth. When was he cast out? That's the question. When was he cast out? And I would say from before the foundations of the earth, because Satan is a spirit. But let's go back and check that, okay? Let's go back to it. So that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world. This is some serious stuff though, right? I mean, Satan deceived the whole world. Does the world include you and I? So if Satan deceived the whole world, and the world includes, and you and I are in the world, or are included in the world, then does that mean, are we deceived? Or were we deceived at some point? Or are we deceived about some things? Because Satan deceived the whole world, right? So if Satan deceived the whole world, then when did this deception start? Right? No. It started in the kingdom. Right? And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to Revelation 12 chapter, and we're gonna read chapters 1 through 10, because we said that Satan was cast out from before the foundations of the earth, right? Before the foundations of the world. And we said also that Satan's deception started in the kingdom. Okay? So that will be Revelation chapter 12, verses 1 through 10. Let's go read that. Let me find it. Revelation chapter 12, verses 1 through 10. And it says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a male child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto Yah and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of Yah, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice say in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength, the kingdom of our Yah, and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuse them before our Yah day and night." Okay? So what is going on in the kingdom? Look at verse 4. "And his tail drew and his tail drew the third part of the stars. Now he is cast down to the earth, right? So this happened in the kingdom, and now he's cast down to the earth. Remember that when Yahusha was teaching them how to pray, and he said a part of the prayer was, thy will be done on earth as it is done in heaven. So when you really think about that, thy, Yah's will, as Yah's will done on earth as it is in heaven, it's already done in heaven. So we also have to remember that. Okay? Not only that, he knows, so here we go now. So Satan is cast to the earth, right? And not only that, he knows that he only has a short time. If we look at Revelation chapter 12, verse 12, we can see that he only has a short time. Let me go to it real quick. Revelation 12, verse 12, right? Let's go. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows he has but a short time. So if you know that you got a short time to do something, what are you going to do? You're not going to waste time. You're going to get started doing whatever you got to do right away, because you know you only got a short time. So what does Satan do? He doesn't waste time. He gets started right away. Okay, and that's going to tell you in Genesis, if we go to Genesis. Okay, so in Genesis chapter 1, right? Let's talk about Genesis chapter 1 for a little bit. But we got to remember that Satan and his goonies are kicked out of heaven. So Satan is on the earth. Yahuwah created for man and woman and gave both, by the way, both of them dominion. Yah creates the man first according to the scripture and gave him one commandment: don't eat from the tree, don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I'm going to keep that simple, okay? Now, remember how Satan wanted to devour, what we were reading in Revelation chapter 12, verse 4 and 5, how Satan wanted to devour the child, her child who was a male. Remember that? Okay, and then we also read that the dragon persecuted the woman who brought forth the male child. So in knowing that, right, he come down here, he's cast out of heaven, he's in the earth, and he knows he has such a short time, and we already know that he's trying to devour the male child. We read that in Revelation chapter 4, Revelation chapter 12, verses 4 and 5. Okay, so we know that Satan is after the male. Let's study the male. Let's study this thing about the male. We need to study that some more. According to the scripture, Yah made a woman after he said it wasn't good for man to be alone. So we're going to go back to Genesis, right? Genesis chapter 1, verse 27 and also 28. But let's read it. So Yah created man in his own image. In the image of Yah created he him. Male and female created he them. Okay? But wait, who did he create in his own image? Let me go back and read that. So Yah created man in his own image, right? In the image of Yah created he him. Male and female created he them. Right? What I'm seeing here is right here, what I see is I see a problem, like the way it's written. It's like something was smeared. Like it's like they were trying to take the woman out, because it says Yah created man in his own image. That man means human in his own image. And then when you read further down, it says in the image of Yah created he him. What do you mean he him? But then I like when I go down here, it says male and female. So I don't know what's up with the he him, but okay, male and female, okay, created he them. But remember what we said. Wait, he created he him. He created both of them in his own image. So if Yah created male and female in his own image, does that mean male and female are in his own image? So does that mean Yah's image is masculine and feminine? But that's gonna be a subject for another time. But you need to remember this, that Satan is an impostor. He's a copycat. He's a mimicker. Okay? So for all you people out there that's like going crazy, what she say? Yeah, what? Yah's image is masculine and feminine? Wait a minute, what's she saying? But you need to remember that Satan is a deceiver. And not only is he a deceiver, he's an impostor. And he's a copycat. Okay? So you need to keep in mind that he deceived the whole world. And could it be that we are deceiving in thinking that Yah's image is only masculine? A lot to think about. Yeah. So let's go back. So we know that Satan is after the male because we read it. We read it in Revelation 12, chapter 4, verse 5, where it says he wanted to devour the child before it was born, and it was a male child, right? But why? Why is he after the male? What is so special about the male that Satan is after him? What is the man carrying that Satan wants? But before we do that, we need to go back and we need to learn a little bit more about Satan. And I think that we can do that in the book of Isaiah. Okay, so we need to figure out what he wants. Okay, we know he wanted to devour the male child, but why? So let's look in the book of Isaiah. So the book of Isaiah, right? Chapter 14, verses 12 through 15. Okay, we might not go all the way to 15, but we'll see. Let's see what we can find. So we're trying to figure out what does he want? What does Satan want? We're going to look. Let's look in chapter 12 in Isaiah. Chapter 14, verse 12. Start at verse 12. So it says here, how are you falling from heaven, O Hallel, son of the howling morning? How are you cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne. What? I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yah. I will sit also upon the mount of the assembly in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like Yah. I will be like Elyon. So, what does Satan want? Look at 13 again. For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of El. I will exalt my throne above the stars of El. I will sit upon the mountain. Okay, wait. So what does Satan want? Satan wants to ascend above the heights of the clouds. What does that mean? Let me go back and read it. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like El Elyon. I will be like Yah, the Most High Yah. So that means he wants to be all-seeing. He wants to be all-knowing. He wants to be all-power. He wants to be all that Yah is. He wants to be like Yah. Look, it says it here. It says it. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High Yah. Look at 13 also. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of El. So these are your key points. First, we know that Satan, we know who he is after, right? And we know what he wants. He's after the male and he wants to be like Yah. But before we go any further, right? Why were we created? Let's find out why we were created, because we want to see where everything connects. Okay? Why were we created? So, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. If you don't know already, we were created to praise, worship, glorify, honor, respect. We were created to exalt Yah. Okay, we were created to worship Yah. It's that simple and easy. Yah, our creator, the Most High, who holds all power, all wisdom, all knowledge, all understanding. Let me tell you, you'll bust your brain trying to figure out all who Yah is. So just go ahead and give him all the praises, all the glory, all the honor, all the esteem, all the worship, all the respect, and all that you are. So that is our purpose in the first place. Now, since Satan wants to be like the Most High Yah, wouldn't that also mean He wants to be worshipped, exalted, praised, glorified, esteemed, honored, and respected. And how is he going to get that? He can't have it in the kingdom. He was kicked out. Guess what? He still wants it. He is here on earth and he is angry and he wants to be like the Most High Yah, the Creator. A created being wants to be worshipped like the Creator. What the heck? Well, that is what he wants. Okay? So he is here on earth and he has a short time and he's got to get to work fast, right? So let's begin. So let's go back to Adam and Eve. So we got Adam and Eve in the garden. Adam was given a commandment not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They were both told to be fruitful and multiply. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, it says, Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, let's go to it. It says, and Yah blessed them, and Yah said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over them, right? Both of them that are in his image, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowls of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Okay, so let's focus on this be fruitful and multiply instruction. Okay, how are they going to be fruitful and multiply? Don't forget this also, that we were created to worship Yah. Okay? Let's go to Genesis chapter 5, where it talks about the generations of Adam. Okay? Go to Genesis, and we're going to talk about the generations of Adam. And when you read it, okay, you could read it on your own time. In Genesis chapter 5, okay, it says from Adam all the way to Noah and his 3 sons. Answer me this. Did you hear anything about the generations of Eve or any woman? No, you didn't. Okay? So men, there must be something very special about you and what it is that you have. Okay? There must be something very special. And don't forget, we're still talking about this, to be fruitful and multiply. So let's go to Genesis chapter 10. If you go to Genesis chapter 10, you will find all the generations of Japheth, Ham, and Shem. And if you read it, let me know if you hear anything about any daughter. You're not going to find it. You're not going to find any daughter. If you go to Genesis chapter 12, verses 12 through 18, Genesis chapter 25, verses 12 through 18, do you hear any daughters mentioned in the generations or any generations of any daughters? No, you don't. You only hear sons. Generations of Esau, okay, Genesis 36 and verse 9, it mentions the mother just to say she bore the sons to Esau because Esau had multiple wives. So it's just letting you know which son belonged to which woman, okay? But not to highlight the woman or anything like that. The focus is always on the son. Same thing with Isaac. Generations, the focus is on the 12 sons, okay? And their sons, right? So now I think you understand. I think you get the picture. So we're still talking about how are they going to be fruitful and multiply. That's the focus. How are they going to be fruitful and multiply? This is what is so special about the male. Okay? He is carrying the generations from what we just saw. He is carrying the generations. And where is he carrying the generations? He's carrying the world in his scrotum. He's carrying the world in his loins. He is carrying all the seeds. Adam is carrying from here, in the garden, Adam is carrying all the seeds and he will pass them down to his sons. Okay? And his sons and so on and so forth. So, listen to this. If the male is carrying the seeds and Satan came down here to deceive the whole world, then he would need to deceive who? Who is he going to deceive? The one who holds the world in his scrotum. The one who is carrying all the seeds. The male is the male. Okay? He is down here to get what he wanted, what he couldn't have in the kingdom. And I want to go back to this. I want to go back to Revelation chapter 22, verses 18 and 19. And I want to read that to you guys. Listen to this, okay? So, let's just read this before we get to the next point. So it says, Revelation chapter 22, starting with verse 18. For I testify unto every man that hears the word of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, Yah shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this Sefer. Chapter 19. If any man shall take away from the words of this book, or Sefer, of this prophecy, Yah shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this Sefer. So, if you know Yah, then you know that Yah has a history of warning about something that Yah already know people are going to do. So don't for 1 minute think that they did not add or take away from the scrolls when they did their transliteration, okay? This is why Revelation 22, 18, and 19 is there, so that you'll know that they're gonna do it, okay? So next point. if you think Satan did not mess with this here book, scriptures, if you think for 1 minute that Satan did not mess with this here book in having the world believe that the woman was deceived and blame the woman for all the problems in the world, you make a sad mistake. Is the world run by women or by men? You might have a few women here and there, but that's just a decoy. The world is run by men, okay? So let's see how Satan did it, right? Let's see how he he got them to eat from the fruit. And yeah, let's go to Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. So Yah tells them to be fruitful and multiply, and how they will, and how will they do that? So let's see. In Genesis chapter 1 verse 28, let me read that one more time. Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. I don't want to lose my place. It says, and Yah blessed them, and Yah said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowls of the air and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. Okay? So Yah tells them to be fruitful and multiply. How are they going to do that? How are they going to be fruitful and multiply? Well, here we go. The man is carrying the seeds in his scrotum. So they come together, the man and the woman come together in a oneness. He puts his seed inside of her. It fertilizes her egg and grows inside of her womb. After a set time, she births the fruit, the child. So let me do this. Let me show you something about how heavy the male's responsibility is, right? If you go to Exodus chapter 20 verse if you go to Exodus chapter 20 verse 5 through 6, let me go to it, okay? Exodus chapter 20 verse 5 through 6. Exodus book. Let's go to Exodus. Wait, that's the second book. Where am I going? Exodus chapter 20. Hold on. Sorry. Verse 5 through 6. It says right here, it says, you shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah, am a jealous El, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Okay? So you see how it says the iniquity of the fathers? It don't say the iniquity of the mothers. It said, I'm going to visit the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Okay? So that lets you know that the seeds The male carrying the seeds. It's a great responsibility. The male is supposed to teach his children how to be righteous. Okay? So if you also go to Exodus chapter 34, verses 7, let's go to Exodus chapter 4. Wait, Exodus chapter, what I said? Chapter 34. 34 and verse 34, 7. It says right here, and Yahuwah passed by before him and proclaimed, Yahuwah, Yahuwah El, merciful and gracious, long-suffering and, this is 6, and abundance in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the what? Iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children unto the third and to the fourth generation. So this is really important. I hope that you see that these seeds that this male is carrying is very important, that he raise his seeds up in righteousness, because if not, the sins just keep going down. They just keep adding up. But praise Yah that Yahusha HaMashiach, the only begotten, came. Okay, because he put an end. He can take away your iniquity, take away your sins, and clean you up. You dirty, you wicked, whatever. He can clean you up. Okay, but let's go back. So before any of that could happen, Satan got, so before any of that could happen, before they could have children, before Adam and Eve could have any children, this is what happened. Satan got the man, and we are going to say, okay, man and woman. We're going to say the woman too. But Satan got the man, okay, to disobey Yah's one commandment he gave him. All right, the commandment that says, don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Guess what, y'all? Yeah, they ate from it. All right, and we're just going to keep it that simple. We're not going to get into the meaning of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, because we know it really wasn't a tree of knowledge of good and evil. Okay, it's just a way that the story is told. All right, but as I was reading Genesis 3 chapter 1, let me go back to Genesis 3 chapter 1. What I had seen, Genesis chapter 3 verses 1, it says, way down there, now the serpent was more subtle, chapter 1, right? Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahuwah the Most High Yah had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, has Yah said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest he die. Wait a minute. I just heard something. Neither shall we touch it. Who said anything about touch it? Where did that come from? Something is wrong. You see this? Right here. You know there's a problem. I'm not going to go deep into this, but what you should know from here is something is written here that we did not see, that Yah said when he gave Adam the commandment back in Genesis chapter 2 verse 16 and 7. You can pause and go check. Pause the video and go check. Look at Genesis chapter 2 verses 16 and 17. You can pause the video, go check it. Go check for yourself. So also remember that Satan deceived the whole world because he wanted something that he couldn't get in the kingdom. Do you think he's going to hesitate to have his minions tamper with the scrolls during transliteration? Remember the warning Yah gave at the end of Revelation, Revelation chapter 22 verses 18 and 19, concerning adding and taking away from the book of these prophecies. Satan already know where he's going, so he don't have a problem using man to do his dirty work. Remember, he's a spirit. He need man to do his bidding. I just wanted to bring that to light, that something is said in Genesis 3 that we did not see Yah say. you know, that we did not see, Yah said, according to what is written in Genesis chapter 2, verse 16 and 17. And we know already that Yah, he dots all his I's and cross all his T's. So that should at least make you stop and think and start asking the Father questions instead of putting your trust in the book that man already put his hand on. Okay? So where were we? We were in Genesis 3 verse 1. Genesis chapter 3 verse 1. Okay? So Genesis chapter 3 verse 1. Let me go see. Genesis chapter 3 verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Let's see what we said. He was right. So what happened with Adam? He was right there. Oh yeah, let me finish reading this. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahuwah the Most High had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, has Yah said not to eat of the every tree? Whoa. What happened here? Cancel. Has Yah has Yah said not to eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the tree of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah has said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for Yah knows that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes will be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing ye shall be as Yah, knowing good and evil. No, ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and, listen to this, gave also unto her man, her husband, with her, and he did eat. You hear that? So I was wondering what happened with Adam. What happened with Adam here? Like he was right there with her. Did you ask the question? Like, did you ask the question when you were reading? Did you say, why didn't he intervene? Like, did you ever wonder why didn't he say something like, yo baby, what you doing? Girl, you know you can't, you're not supposed to have that. Put that down, or something like that. Yeah, like any man would do, right? Like, I mean, like what we think they would do, unless they wanted to do it too, you know, then they ain't gonna say nothing about it because it's already in their heart that they want to do that. So they see the woman doing it, they ain't gonna say nothing. But okay. So anyway, so when you read this and you start asking questions, you see that things don't add up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't add up. Anyway, it goes right back to Satan. Satan deceived the whole world, and he did it from the beginning. I'm just going to try to sum this up. Satan deceived the whole world, and he did it from the beginning. And he deceived the male who is carrying the world in his scrotum. What is Satan's end game? To be like Yah, to be worshipped. And we were created to worship Yah. And Satan wants that. Okay? So he had he had to start with the male carrying the generations in their loins, and in his loins. So he had to start with the male carrying the generations in his loins. And he didn't waste time because he knows his time is short compared to eternity. And I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to leave you with that today. Go back and do your studies. If you really want to know, seek the Father's guidance. He says, ask and you shall receive. He wasn't talking about asking him for no $1 million and no house and no car and all of that. That ain't what he talking about. Okay, so if you have a pure desire to know the Father and to know and to understand spirit and truth, then put the work in, and Yah will give the increase. Yah is the best teacher. Shalom.